A man is going to jump off the Lionsgate Bridge. Three different people in succession stop to talk to this poor fellow. The first person is an expert. He knows everything. He's read all the books. He's a professional. He's a therapist. Yes, I see. Yes, that's very interesting. Yes, the man jumps. That's this guy, the therapist. The second person, he's not a therapist. He's just an ordinary Joe or Jane, and he's full of compassion, full of feeling, full of empathy, and so on. And he gets out to talk to this poor fellow, and he's overwhelmed with the man's sorrow. Oh my God! Yes, no, no, no! You don't have to die completely. They both jump. This guy is all human. Neither of these people can actually help the addict or the person who's about to kill himself or herself. What this person needs is someone who has the yin yang going, someone who has the intellect, has studied, knows the context, knows the work, but can translate that into a simple idea. This person actually does empathize deeply, but he's not going to be choked by it, and he or she is going to pick one simple, clear idea and deliver it clearly to the attempted suicide. And that person, the potential suicide, gets in the car and they go for coffee. Hopefully a happy ending. If you are choosing for some reason or other to work in addictions, you have to ask yourself why. And once you get a reasonable answer to that, and there are a million reasonable answers, then you have to ask yourself how. What is it that I do? How do I prepare? So, of course, you study. You sign up for all the courses and you do your work and you study and so on. But you also have to understand that this kind of work is not normal conversation. It's heightened conversation, and it is holy territory because you are dealing with a person's soul. So this is archetypal, it's universal, it's mom, dad, it's fear, it's sex, it's longing, it's wisdom. So, wisdom, you have to ask yourself, what books do I read? What books do I come back to? Which Shakespeare plays do I love or hate? What music must I hear? What music makes me get up and dance? What instruments, if any, do I play? What athletics am I involved in? What sports am I? How do I feel my body in motion in space? And what do I do with that feeling, whether it hurts or it is beautiful? All of those questions are relevant as a therapist. You also have to understand how you prepare. There's discipline, there's hard work, and an awful lot of thought. But there's some thought that doesn't help at all, and I'm going to give you an example. I've done over 11,000 groups in my life, and I'm sure that many individual counseling sessions in hours or weeks, it feels like. So regularly, I always would have a visitor, in my group, someone in the clinic I was working in, or a visitor from the university, or whatever. And always after the clients would go for lunch, after the session was over, we do a little debriefing. And on one occasion, one of my favorite people, who was himself, I think, a terrific natural therapist and also someone who studied everything, when the session ended and everybody left, he said, "Oh, I just, I wasn't up to snuff today. I didn't bring my A game." And I said, "No, no, you were fine. You're fine." No, so he went on like this. I said, "Okay, look, let's say you didn't bring your A game. You know why?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, I know why. You want to learn something?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, you have the misfortune that you're so smart and so likable that the clinic has given you this other title and these other responsibilities. And so these days, for a couple months now, you're running around the building like a chicken with its head cut off. And then suddenly you look and go, oh, it's 5 to 11. I got to go to David's group. Oh, boy, and you come running in and so on. If you weren't up to snuff today, that's why, because that's not treating what you're about to do with respect. Any performer of any kind, whether you're a ballet dancer, a rock musician, an NFL quarterback, whatever, a tuba player, must have anywhere from 2 seconds to 200 hours of complete silence and solitude before a performance. And that includes going into therapy with an individual or a group. But you're running around going, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this. Oh, it's 2 minutes to the hour, I have to go to David's group. No, you need absolute quiet. And you have to park your brain, in a way, at the door. Leave all of the intellectualisms at the door. I'm not saying they're unworthy, but you're not going to play therapeutic detective. You're not. This isn't called psychological detective work. That's not what it's about. What you have to do is be BL, the big listener. You have to be the big listener. And you listen not only with your ears, but with your elbows, with your knees, with all of the skin on your body, with every part of your body and soul, so that you can actually hear what is being said. And as my mother, may she rest in peace, taught me 1,000 years ago, you also have to hear what isn't being said and what is afraid to be said. So I'll give you one. I could tell you 1,000 stories, but I'll give you one little story, which I hope you'll like. A guy is sent to me. I was living in Toronto at the time, and a guy is sent by a famous clinic to come and see me because they're getting nowhere with him. So okay, fine. He comes to my house at 8:30 in the morning, as we've agreed by phone, and he shows up, and we go into my study, and for 20 minutes. Narrative, which, by the way, I have to tell you personally, I detest. I'm not interested in people's little stories that go on and on about he said, she said, we said, I said. Forget it. It doesn't get you anywhere. Anyways, but he does 20 minutes of narrative. And then he sets me up, poor fellow, by saying, well, any event, you just met me, so you don't know anything about me. And I said, no, actually, I know everything about you. Oh, what? What are you talking about? Did they send you a file or something? I said, no, I've never read a file about anybody in my life. I don't read files, I read people. So he said, well, how can you know anything about me? I said, how did you arrive at my door? Do you remember how we met? Yeah, I came and knocked on your door, and you opened the door and said hello. I said, no, that's not what happened. You have no memory of what you actually did. Well, what do you mean? I said, first of all, this is an old building, and there's a thing you turn, a bell that's in the frame of the door, and you turned it, and the bell rang, and I opened the door, and it wasn't 8:30, it was about 8:25, which was fine with me. And as soon as I opened the door and said, hello, how are you? You said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm usually I'm later on time, but I'm never early. It's just unusual for me. I'm usually never early, so I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. I'm sorry. So my question to you, sir, is, why do you go through life apologizing for being alive? And on that question, he broke down into sobs, and we started the work. Because that's where the work is. The work is in the heart, all right? And so this isn't playing detective. It isn't like I'm standing around waiting for someone to do something that exposes themselves. As my son always says, Dad, why are people so obvious? I said, I don't know. I guess we're always just exposing ourselves in some way or another. So this is beautiful work, and it's difficult work. And you have to be on your toes. And yes, you have to study all the things you're asked to study. But there's more. So let me give you an idea of the kinds of things that would happen in a course that I would call How to Work with Addicts Effectively. Addictions 101. First question, who are they? Who are these people? Who are these addicts in front of you? What are the key ideas? What's driving people? Who are these people, and who are we? Who am I? What am I bringing to the table? What have I got to offer? What are my strengths? What are my blank spots? What are the things I really dislike? What about preparation, structure, and discipline? How can you prepare? How can you have structure and discipline in an environment working with people who are used to no discipline and no structure and so on. And how do you achieve those concepts, and how do you make them work for anybody? Emotional intelligence, what is it? What is the art of listening? How do you strengthen your emotional intelligence? I can tell you one of the quick secrets is you simply let go. You do a lot of letting go, which is one of the things you'll be asking addicts to do. Let go of their resentments and fears and their old melodramas and so on. But we have to let go. We have to let go of course, we're in the power position, but we have to let go. It's not about power, it's about listening and then giving simple directions and simple feedback. What are our ambitions and opportunities? How can we take our foot off the brake? How can we dare to say something that we're actually feeling and thinking? Are we afraid that if what we say may hurt somebody? I've been blowing my face off, talking endlessly for 60 years, and no one's head has exploded, nobody's hair has gone on fire. you know, some people don't like me. Too bad. So that's my quick pitch to you about a course about addictions and how do we work with addicts. That's just a little taste of it that I want to share with you. In any event, I hope that you'll be interested in this course, and I hope to see you so that we can work together and do some real good in the world. Thanks for listening.